Previously on 2 Past Midnight.
What's your name, Corporal?
Corporal Clark. Look, the last radio communication I got, everybody's pulling back. They're pulling back as far west as possible. We're basically on our own. I'm free, man.
Jacob, how do you plan on surviving?
Dude, I'll get by.
On to Parjou, baby.
I guess we're jumping in the Humvee and heading south.
Do you guys see about 8 bodies lying in the middle of the road? One of them appears to be crawling.
So my hand starts shaking as I reach down to turn over this body, as my heart sinks just knowing that this is Keanu.
We see a park outside. Appears to be tropical. There's a table with a white tablecloth on top, presents, a birthday cake, candle on top that says 9. Bunch of, kids running around playing games. See a bunch of adults, most of them look like they're probably in the military also, and we see a younger Emmett standing around. What do you do, Emmett? It's your son's birthday.
Hey, Keanu, come here.
Yeah, Dad? He comes running over.
Hey, Keanu. You know I love you, right?
Yeah, of course, Dad, of course.
I know I ain't been around much. The military does ask a lot of me. But, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this party. These other gentlemen here...
What do you mean you can't? What do you mean you can't finish the party?
These other gentlemen here are asking me to...
But Dad, we were about to throw water balloons, Dad.
I know, Keanu.
Dad.
I know.
I don't care. I don't care about you. And he runs off.
Sweetheart, will you tell him how much I love him? I know he doesn't understand now, but hopefully one day he will.
I know.
Or maybe one day he won't.
I know. He knows. I love you, dear. Be safe.
I'll contact you as soon as I can.
Of course. Yeah. I know how it is. This isn't my first, rodeo.
Maybe this one will be the last.
I know. I don't like to think about that. She leans over and kisses you on the cheek. Keanu! She runs off after Keanu. Come back to the scene on the road. You can tell it's not Keanu. You would know. You would know your own son if you saw him. What do you guys do?
Another part of my heart still breaks because there's almost a sense of relief that washes over me as I'm looking at this other person's dead son, father, brother, and just the lack of remorse for him as it is just thankfully not Keanu.
Then I guess our quest continues.
All of a sudden you guys hear another noise coming from the area here. You look over and you see that Olaf is vomiting up blood.
I go over to Olaf and start petting him and asking if he's okay.
As you reach for him, he bites at you and kind of jumps back. Let me roll the bite. No, either way. Oof, Jesus Christ.
Success.
Leg. So you take 2 points of damage to your leg as you're walking up. He goes and bites at you. So you take 2 points of damage.
It's okay, Olaf. It's okay. Fuck.
I immediately point the gun at the dog.
It's radiation poisoning, right?
Kind of walks over another like few meters away and starts like doing the poop walk, and you just see like blood, liquid blood, kind of stool.
Well, buddy, what do we want to do about this scenario?
Same thing we had to do with the guy back at the camp. Fuck. Sorry, Olaf.
Don't think we're going to be able to find a vet anywhere close to this.
Nope. Nope. It's my responsibility. I'll do it.
All right, buddy. I'm here if you need me.
Lord, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. I look at Olaf and I say, you're a good companion, buddy. I'm sorry. This is for your own good. And...
Chris, roll empathy.
Oh, gosh.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
Rolled a 2.
So that's a fail. You're able to take the shot.
Sorry, buddy. And I squeeze the trigger.
God damn it! If you're gonna take a shot, Warner brother. God fucking Jesus.
Oh, I guess you hadn't found out yet. These two will just kill just about anything.
I smile.
I look at Emmett and I say, shut the fuck up. He had radiation poisoning. That hurt me a hell of a lot more than letting Cole kill that soldier.
Yeah, that's who I want to have in my back. The guy who has more problems killing a dog than another person.
He was bleeding out. We're doing him a favor.
Don't do me any favors.
Well, I would hope you'd do the same for me. I don't want to suffer. When it's my time, it's my time.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do? You still have that wounded lieutenant, by the way. You have a tourniquet on his arm.
Had we dragged him back to the truck yet, or hadn't gotten that far yet?
You were policing Brass.
Yep.
I believe Cole was over there with him. Emmett was checking the bodies, and Chris was over there just kind of keeping an eye on the area.
So we should probably get moving. We got to get out of here, especially with that shot. Someone's gonna come calling, come looking. So we should get going. Like, we got to get the LT in the truck, and we got to go.
Just keep going west.
I believe you guys are actually headed...
Headed south, I thought.
Yeah, you guys were headed south towards Parjou.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Infamous P-Town.
Yep.
Parjou.
Polejoy.
Adam, can I tend to the bite wound?
Sure. It's probably not a bad idea. Someone should. You want to roll medical aid?
I'll try to give myself medical aid, see what happens. According to Roll20, that is a 7.
7 will do it.
Yeah, that's a success.
So what does that do?
Oh, that just means you're not going to get a secondary infection from the open wound.
Just basically stabilized?
You still have the 2 points of damage. It just means you're not going to get a secondary infection from the wound.
Okay.
Basically. Anyway, so you guys are going to continue south into Parjou. I'm going to call for a driving roll from you, Jeremy.
I don't want.
But it's going to be a modified one.
Okay.
Because you guys are technically off-road. Because the hex you're in doesn't have one of those big gray lines through it. That's like main roads. I mean, you're on roads, but you're on like shit roads.
Yeah, it's fine. And it would make sense that they would have been bombed and like IEDs and fucking mortars and just regular combat's gonna fuck up them roads.
Yeah, I mean, and it's more like country roads, you know what I mean? Even then, so some of them trails, some of them...
And they haven't been maintained for 3 years.
Right. I mean, even the main ones aren't great, but, you know, the main ones are at least built for large amounts of military vehicle to be driving on them all the time. And these back roads weren't. And so then, you know, tanks driving across them all the time, it's going to fuck up the roads.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Need a driving roll from you, but it's based on the terrain. and you take you get a +1 on your driving roll.
Yeah, I get a +1. So what's the negative for the shit terrain?
Oh, +1. Actually, it's +1 for open. So it's +3 for a good road, for like driving, for roads.
Oh, okay.
You probably are maxed out, but...
So the terrain is +1?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is awesome. All right,
Yep.
so that gives me an A and a B.
Yeah, and if it were raining and nighttime, it would adjust
Right.
it accordingly, but it's not, so...
If I fail this, gods have spoken.
It is a pushable
Jesus.
roll. It is... well, you didn't
Well,
fail it.
I'm not going to push it, because that's one success and one failure. God, that was a 6 and a 1.
All right.
In the previous shift, I said I was resting in the truck, so
Mhm.
I know we stopped to do
That's
that.
still technically this shift. You can still be resting, even having
Okay.
stopped with that.
All right.
I'm fine with that. Because it's not even going to take you a full shift to get from where you guys started to Parshu. Jeremy, do you have the stats for the vehicle up? Because it has like off-road speed, and that's what you'd be traveling at.
Stand by. Off-road speed, 8. So it's 10 and 8 is the travel speed.
Okay, and the consumption rate, if I remember correctly, is based off of each hex traveled. Pretty sure that's right. Because I might have to take a little bit more of your gas away when you guys get that other next 10 kilometers.
Did you already take...
Yeah, that's why you're down an eighth of a tank.
Down an eighth of a tank. Oh, you
Yeah.
adjusted the character sheet already?
I adjusted it on the main page.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you look down, you'll see a fuel gauge.
I see it.
Dropped
Yep,
it
yep.
down.
Oh, super cool. See, the audience isn't going to get to see that.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll send it to them later. Yeah, it's per 10 kilometers. So to drive into Parshu, you're going to lose another eighth of a tank, basically.
Okay, cool.
All right, so you guys come driving up. You're starting to get closer into Parshu as you guys are driving along the roads. You're kind of coming along these kind of more back roads. Like you'll pass by like kind of the ruins of like farmhouses and barns and places that have been just like you can see the rubble. You know what I mean? Like framework maybe like of half houses that have been burnt or blown out. You know, dilapidated barns that have been hit by Artie.
Am I getting another rest on this 10K trip?
No, this is still the same shift. Yeah, all of this still
Okay,
counts.
gotcha,
the same
gotcha,
shift.
gotcha.
Well, that's the other thing too, Jeremy, is you're technically off-road. Is that what the hash is? Hold on. Travel speed. Yeah, off-road. Yep. Okay, yeah, so you'd be able to move 8. So it doesn't even take you a full shift to drive to this location. It takes you like a couple hours, probably.
Okay. To drive 10 kilometers?
20. The total from where you were originally to here, because of it being back roads. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
Because it's not main roads.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not a straight fucking line.
That tracks.
In other words.
Okay.
Should we make the assumption that every one of these houses, cottages, farms that we pass have been ransacked and looted?
I mean, like I said, it's mostly ruined, blown out places. If you guys want to stop on the way, you could always stop and investigate further if you wish before you get to Parshu. That is up to you guys.
Well, gas and things like that. Maybe even like firewood.
What I will say is if you guys do stop, that'll be the rest of the shift. Will be this. If you guys stop to forage and ground.
Clark is interested in linking back up with his unit at the rendezvous, so he's not really stopping. He doesn't care about looting the stuff. He has enough equipment that he can fix the radio if he needs to, but he's more interested in not being a single Humvee out in the middle of this fucking countryside at the moment.
I'm good with that. I was worried about gas.
I mean, we're not that far from Parshu, and we do have enough of like refuel in the jerry cans, but I don't think we're gonna find fuel in these burned out fucking shelled buildings.
Okie dokie.
To Parshu it is.
Does anybody talk about anything on your drive? Or are you guys just silent and grumpy?
Who is where in the Humvee?
Yeah, who's where?
Murph is back right seat.
Cole's back left.
So Emmett's laying in the hump in the middle.
No, these.
He could be in front.
No, wouldn't Emmett be in the turret?
No, I'm resting. And if Cole is the one who is navigating, wouldn't he be in the passenger seat?
I would prefer the navigator to be in the front seat. Yes. Because it's far easier to have those conversations in Humvee, because they are loud as fuck.
They are loud as fuck.
Then since I am navigating, I am definitely up front then.
Okay.
You're still resting though. That's fine. All right, so it's driving, shotgun. Well, shotgun, driving. As I'm looking at this thing, you're on the back. What and what? Emmett and Murphy.
Back right with the sniper rifle across my lap.
And the back left.
Yeah, I thought last week we discussed you were up out of the top with the gun behind you and the sniper rifle out in front.
He was
But-
before, but I guess he isn't
Yeah.
now. So
All right, that's fine.
Clark immediately stops the truck and says, "Look, I would really appreciate it if one of you guys would get in that turret.
I'll get in the turret.
If we come up on something, I mean, the best chance we have is for someone to light it up with that 240 and us get the fuck out of here. Because I can drive, but I can't shoot and drive at the same time, and I sure as shit can't operate that machine gun while I'm driving."
Murph will get in the turret. One's navigating, one's resting, so I will get in the turret.
okay.
Thanks, Murph.
On my way up into the turret, I turn to Emmett and I say, "I know you may not believe it, but I'm really glad that wasn't your boy." And then I climb up.
All right, so as I said before, you guys are driving along, blown out houses along the way, just kind of the general effects of war on the countryside. Come around a turn, the road curves off to the left, and it comes up to a T. As it comes up to a T, you see a sign beside you. It says Parshu, and you look to your right down the road, Jeremy, and I'm assuming the navigator also, and you can see it too, Chris, since you're up in the turret. You look to your right, and you can see like rubble, right? Like you can see not the whole town. Like you'll see a couple buildings standing, but then you see about 100 meters or so of just like, you know, blown out buildings, like right at the edge of town. A couple buildings that are a little bit like that are completely gone, like the first like 100 meters of town off the road. And then past that, you see a couple buildings are like half blown away, here and there. And then further in, some of the buildings past that still seem to be standing. But for the most part, it just looks like this edge part's been kind of blown to shit. What do you do?
Murph climbs down from the turret and asks for the binocs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hand him up if I have him. I can't remember.
Okay.
So get back into the turret and then look through the binoculars into the town and see what I can see.
Okay. What's your recon? And you get a +1 with the, it's B and a B, right?
Yes, B and a B. So it'd be an A and a B.
Okay.
You rolling that or am I?
I already rolled it. Because I like secret rolls. You look around, and in between two of the blown up buildings, you see a figure move from one to the next. Basically from like east to west.
Can I tell what they were wearing at all?
That's all you really see is just him move from one building to another. You just see kind of a figure real quick. Like goes across a little 10-meter gap. So
I stick my head down and say, saw a little bit of movement. One guy dart across the street about 100 mics out.
it's not really across the street, but yeah, okay. But close enough, yeah. It's just between two buildings that are on the same block.
Could I tell if he had a weapon or not?
Yeah, you could see that he had a weapon. Actually, yeah, roll me a recon on that one then. You can roll this one.
With a +1, right? So 1 success on that roll.
Sure. Yeah, he had a AKM. Well, no, the AK-74. I'm sorry. He had an AK-74. Sorry. Said the wrong thing.
Okay, so I stick my head down and just say, hey, saw movement in there, guy armed with an AK, 100 mics in. Couldn't tell if it's friendly or not. Well, we don't know. Who knows what's friendly and what's not at this point?
Yeah, that's about the only motion you've seen in there, though. Just that one guy run from one building to the other.
There are more or less to worry about in here, Clark.
I don't know. This is just the rendezvous point. I was lost as hell until I found you guys. I was going the wrong way. I didn't even know. So as far as I mean, you guys know what I know. I mean, you guys are carrying AKs. But, I mean, I've also seen Americans shoot other Americans, so who the hell knows?
Well, if we're going to roll in, I'll make sure I'm on the 240.
Shit. Cole, what do you think about doing a recon on the outside of this city and maybe just doing a slow circle around it, try to get a feel? Because they might be, the remains of Second Armor might be, camped up somewhere, have some bivouac. I don't know.
Sounds good to me. Last thing I want to do is trudge right into a hornet's nest.
Yeah, I'm not feeling real great about going right through the middle of this city, Not to mention, some jackass putting an IED into the rubble and just getting through there, and then, maybe we get into a blind alley and we can't turn around. I think we should go. I think we should loop around this thing before we even try to go through that. That sounds,
We will Robert Frost this and take a little bit of the road less traveled.
Hell yeah. Let's do that.
Oh, so you guys are going to turn around and go back? Because you were kind of at a T where it went to the left, went to the right. You guys want to circle around? Like the one to the right goes into town. The one to the left heads back north from where you guys, kind of the direction you guys had come from originally. But behind you, it goes west a little ways and then curves up to the north, which is the way that you guys came.
Hey, Cole, just you give me the turn by turn and, we'll try to stay out of the city, If we get too far in, we can always double back.
Can I do a survival to figure out what would be the best option for this kind of thing?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Fuck. You're already pretty high on stress, huh?
Yeah, I'm on a 1 and a 1 because I don't think since I navigated, I didn't rest.
Yeah.
So we hang a right. No.
Okay. We're going through the middle of town.
Are there any high points surrounding?
I mean, there's a little bit of a hill.
I was asking the question about potentially dumping me off somewhere, allowing me to use the scope on the sniper rifle and just observe.
Right. Well, okay. Yet again, and I'll just go into more detail. Like where you guys were at was one little area that's part of like an entrance into town, right? It's not like a tiny village. Okay. So if they put you on a hill somewhere here and they circle around to try to, go around the town to look for a different, way in or kind of get an idea, you're going to be in a totally different part of town. Right?
That's hardcore splitting the party.
Yeah. I just wanted to warn you. Like if you could do that where you are right now, or you could stay with the vehicle.
It was just an option I was asking about.
I know. And that's why I was just like laying out the framework of the layout of the area,
If you wanted to scout the town, what we could do is we could double back a certain amount of, I don't know, double back until we get out of line of sight, stash the vehicle, make a like temporary bivouac or whatever, and then you go out and do your recon deal and then come back.
I don't think that's the worst idea. So we can recon and surveil the town and see what we could be getting into.
Exactly. And in that shift, like if we do that as a shift, that's going to give Clark time to fix that radio, and then we could possibly make contact with anybody else that's out there.
And let them know we're coming in. Friendly's coming in, don't shoot.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Well, to play the other side of the coin, we do have a lieutenant who is pretty tore up.
Yes.
Still with us.
He's on the hump in the middle. That I knew someone
Yeah.
was.
And then we also have, I mean, the size of this town sounds relatively large. Yeah, I mean, unless there's like an obvious camp, you know, we're still going to be driving in blind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not like the town's like one main street that just goes up and it's like, 50 meters or something, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot going on.
Yeah, so what we do is we have the main force hang back and send recon in, which unfortunately, based on numbers, that's like one dude. So
Well, you guys tell me what you're doing.
everybody outranks Clark, so
I think it's the most sound tactical plan.
okay.
Hey, you're the one putting yourself out there, so it's got to be your call.
I'm good with it getting as much information as we can before we roll into a town of unknown.
Yep. I'm with you. Cool. Yeah, so we're gonna drop back. How far are we gonna drop back? Or that's a making camp roll, really, isn't it?
Well, that's his survival roll. That he rolled
Oh,
for navigation already.
Yeah.
I'm not
All right.
letting you not have that. I'm not just bypassing it.
That's why Cole's been kind of quiet, because he knows he's out of options.
Because you changed your mind on what you were doing after the roll.
Well, it wasn't because of the roll. It was just,
I know,
Chris
I know.
wanted to do a thing, and it was like, all right, well, let's do that thing and see how it works.
By the way,
Okay.
I'm keeping the roll. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. It's gonna be shit, and we're gonna get ambushed. Awesome. Let's do it.
All right, so you guys double back. Take a left. Go down this other side country road. Circles around. Comes back up, and you guys kind of find what seems like a pretty good place to camp. So you're a little ways away from town. Say you're about 2-3 clicks out. That seemed like a reasonable distance back.
Yeah, that's pretty far. That's it's gonna be quite a hump for Murph.
Mhm.
With that heavy ass fucking rifle.
So you guys gonna make camp and shit then, or what? Was that the plan?
Oh, I thought we already did. I thought that was the survival.
Oh, no. That was not that survival roll.
Oh. No. All right.
That was a navigation roll.
That was me trying to find the best route and be good about it, but I was not good about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Cole, you point out to Murphy where you guys are on the map and the direction town is, yada, yada, yada. If that's what you guys are doing. Or maybe that's your camp roll. You'll never know. So I need another survival roll for making camp.
I mean, I normally have good survival, but we're not off to a good start today.
Yeah, it's a bad start.
So if someone's reconning in, they're not the one that can make the camping roll. I'll just point that
I will
out.
attempt
Right,
to make
of
it.
course.
I will attempt to make camp. Cole will make camp.
Oh.
All right, so it's either going to be
12. Yeah.
you don't know exactly where you are and the directions you just gave Murphy are shit, or you might have a mishap on your camp. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, come on.
It's going to be one of the two.
Let Murph figure it out, man. He'll be all right.
I have already rolled and decided which one it
God
is.
damn it.
But it's just remember, it's a double success, so it kind of just makes up for the other failure.
You know what? I saw that rule on page nope.
Let me check my book again.
You guys all have a copy. Did you see it in there? In that player handbook anywhere?
Yeah, it was in Appendices 13.
Clark would very much like to take this shift to try to fix the radio. Whilst
Yeah, so we are in the evening at this point, so I
Awesome.
need a weather roll from someone. Needs to roll a d6.
who wants it?
Brian's doing this one.
Get it, Brian. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Okay.
It's still cloudy.
2.
So it's a cloudy night, which means visibility is pretty shitty. So yeah, that's fun.
So I've made camp, so I can't scrounge or anything, correct?
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to scrounge anything. Anybody else could do one of those other things, though. So everybody tell me what you're doing. Chris, are you going to go recon into town? Is that the plan?
That's the plan.
All right. So we will count that as a whole separate thing. There's not a specific shift action for it, but put keeping watch, and we'll just go with that.
Can part of my making camp be taking care of our injured guy as well? Cole's just kind of keeping an eye on him, making sure he's comfortable as he makes camp. Make sure he's got a spot to sit and everything.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't think you have to do another medical roll on him till tomorrow anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, you should be... I mean, yes, you would change the bandages, yada, yada, do whatever. You're fairly... Yeah. So... No, not night yet. Evening. Evening is what you guys are in. What are you doing, Emmett? Because technically no one's actually keeping watch at the camp right now. Because we're just counting Chris's recon as keeping watch.
Oh, okay, so then I'll keep watch.
Okay. Chris heads out for his reconnaissance. What are you exactly you taking with you, Chris?
Just the sniper rifle. That's it. And the binoculars, actually. Wait, do I need both?
I mean, the rifle does not give you a bonus to recon.
Okay, I'll take both.
But it's also a dark, cloudy night.
So what I'll do, Adam, is take the binoculars to get an overall view.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I see something that warrants attention, I'll look through the sniper rifle.
Okay. All right, so Murphy heads out. Do you guys say anything to each other before you guys go your separate ways, or what are you guys doing?
We should definitely put a timeline on this. How long are you going to need, Murph?
I mean, you're a couple kilometers out, so you'd think if you were trying to move silently and stealthily and taking your time, you know what I mean? It's going to take you a couple hours to get there. Possibly an hour if you were really moving it, but like, you know.
I mean, 2 kilometers, somebody could walk that in like...
Yeah, but there's a big difference between just walking it and, you know, sniper moving.
Agreed. I would...
Trying not to put a silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect an hour, you know. But I'm also not a sniper. It could be longer. I don't
Well,
know.
that's what I'm saying. Like an hour there, a few hours of like moving around, looking, you know, getting a good idea of what the layout is.
Yep.
And then, you know, about an hour back was kind of what I was thinking. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so like the whole shift, we can expect him to be gone, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah, somewhere between 5 to 10 hours. So we'll just say you could expect reasonably it'd be 5 or 6 hours.
Okay. 12, we're taking off without you, Murph.
Yeah, that's fine. I would say if shit goes down, I'll fire my weapon. You'll hear it.
You hear that thing from the moon?
Yeah, I mean, 2 clicks out, you guys would probably still hear the gunfire. So, like, you'd hear distant gunfire 2 clicks out. Pretty sure.
Since I'm making camp, I can't do any assistance with the tech, can I?
No.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, you're not going to have a QRF. I mean, that's, you're kind of on your own, because I don't know if we can make it to you in time, because we're not really set up for any of that shit, you know?
Totally aware of that. No quick reaction force. What I'll do is if people start fanning out towards me, and I will double time it back, and if I think I'm in danger, I will fire a shot and then double time it back.
Oh, if we start hearing shots, we're gonna gear up and we'll be getting ready to go. And as soon as you get here, we're gonna punch it.
So if you hear a shot, that means shit went down.
Oh yeah, I mean, I imagine we'll hear multiple if that's the case.
But if you only hear one, shot, that means I'm coming back. If you hear multiple shots, that means I'm staying. I'm kind of trying to shoot and move.
All right.
One shot means I'm coming back. Double time. Multiple shots means I'm fucked.
Well, here's the thing. One shot, Yeah. One shot from that howitzer. Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. And then the sniper walks off into the bush.
Do you want me to roll the recon roll with the infiltrator?
Not yet. Nope. Because it's actually going to be modified. Because it's also, see, you're thinking you're just trying to sneak around them. It's going to be a passive roll for the encounter at this point on whether you see them before they see you, type thing. So it's just a passive roll at this point. And it's going to be at a -2 for being a cloudy night, and a +1 for your binoculars, which really doesn't make sense, but I'll do it anyway. So it's an effective -1 on your recon. But it's passive, so you can't push it. Would you rather I roll it for suspense?
Sure.
All right. Cole's sitting over there with the lieutenant. Emmett's kind of keeping watch. Clark is working on the radio. You see the lieutenant kind of coming in and out of consciousness a little bit. He's kind of coming to at this point. Cole, where am I? What's going on? Where are we?
We are in a city, on the outskirts of the city, trying to figure out if we've got a way to get into the city and maybe see if we can get you a little bit more help, man. But right now we've got you stitched up the best we can, and we're waiting on recon to see if this is a friendly area or if we got to head on down the road. How you feeling? You feeling like it's something you can push through here? I mean, you were pretty bad when we found you in the middle of the road.
What's my arm? I can't feel my arm. I can't move it.
Yeah, we've strapped it down pretty good. You were losing a lot of blood there. I mean, our major thing that we could do is just try to make you not bleed out and make you as comfortable as possible here. Hopefully we can get you to someone a little bit more trained, but...
Where's the... What town? What town?
Pardieu. Does he react when I say Pardieu and like, no, anywhere but there?
He's like, oh, like he kind of acknowledges that, that was supposed to be their, backup, like, rendezvous point.
Mm-hmm.
But he, doesn't. They didn't make it there. He tells you that their tank got taken out further away, and they ended up walking to this area. Like, that was how they've made it here on foot up until they got ambushed.
You did good, buddy. Unfortunately, the young kid that was with you didn't make it. Nothing we could do at the time on that one.
It was like 6 of them that didn't make it. But yeah.
Well, that's the only one that we really saw that had a chance. But
yeah. All right, so we go over to Clark working on the radio. Go ahead and roll that tech roll, Jeremy.
No whammy.
Hey!
I got a 9 out of 5. Fuck yeah.
All right, so a few hours go by, and we got Clark's working on the radio, and you hear starts up. And when you go to turn it on, that sound when you click the receiver. What do you do?
I'm listening. I'm going through. I don't. I'm gonna. Well, we don't have a plugger, so I can't really change the time or any of the security codes on it or the encoding. So I guess I'm just gonna cruise through channels, listening for now. I'm not broadcasting shit. I'm gonna listen and just go through channels to see. I'll go through I don't know them offhand, but I'll go through the specific channels that the company was using, the division was using, to try to canvas the ones I would know first, and then continue on from there, going through channel to channel and just kind of listening, a little bit on each one, trying to find it.
Right. No, I got you.
And I might like click the key twice on the handset, just like click, click, you know?
Yeah, so you click. I mean,
Just
like
enough.
on each channel, just to see if there's a response to it.
Yeah,
like keying
yeah,
the-
exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right.
Would I have been able to hear him get the radio kicked on? If I'm keeping watch
Yeah,
from the top?
yeah, you hear it.
Yeah, I picture Clark as kind of like in the front passenger seat, and he's working on the radio, and Emmett's, you know, it's basically at Emmett's feet. And I would expect, I guess there's not a whole lot of conversation between them at the time, but
I'd say we're both pretty well focused on the task at hand if I'm keeping watch in the events of the day.
yeah.
I mean, I'm a little excited to hear that the radio kicked on.
Yeah, you
so
kind of heard,
I'd probably holler down like, said, "You got ears on now?"
we got ears. I'm trying to see if anybody's on any of these channels. I'm scrolling through, you know, but I'm I'm not about to start yelling through these freaks, you know.
No. Yeah. We don't need to just be broadcasting our location.
Come on.
But I mean, that's probably the first good news I've heard all day, right there.
I know, right? It's put a fucking grin on my face, man. Oof, at least it's something. At least we can talk to people out there, and it's not just us floating through the ether, you know?
Well, you really just increased my chances of hopefully finding Keanu. If they can, you know, it puts us a little further than just what we can do on our own 2 feet.
Yeah, you know, I mean, worst comes to worst, we can at least try to get the word out that we're looking for him, and maybe someone, you know, will send it along, you know?
Yeah, or maybe a last known location, or they can let them know where we're headed to.
Oh,
Better than needles in a haystack.
yeah, we might want to set up a third location, you know, like divorced parents dropping off a kid, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We don't want them coming to our house.
All right, so you're keying through the radio, and we cut over to Murphy. Why don't you describe what it kind of looks like, Murphy, as you're sneaking around your way towards town?
So, describe what I'm seeing. So, I'm trying to stay low. If this is flat ground, then go from bush to bush, tree to tree, whatever obstacles there are there. And when I find any elevated points at all, go prone. Look through the binoculars. If I catch movement or anything like that, then look through the scope on the sniper rifle to try to discern what movement I'm seeing.
Right, yeah, and I mean also because of the time of day it is, because it is night and it's dark, like your limited, your vision is going to be limited to like 100 meters, basically.
I do have NVGs.
They only work out to 30 meters. They don't extend the vision. I remember looking it up. It negates the darkness out to 30 meters. It doesn't make it so you can see 30 meters more.
I got you.
It just negates the negative from the darkness.
So I would have to be within 30 meters in order to see anything with the NVGs.
Right. And actually, because it's a cloudy night, it's actually 50 meters that you can see. I was wrong, about 100. Like, that's about as far out as you can see.
But that works both ways.
Oh, yeah, no, obviously, yeah. If you can't see them, they can't see you. Plus, that also means it would negate the any negative they take from, like, darkness on being able to see, but it also, you know, like with your NVGs, you'd be able to see them a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going slow and cautious, slowly moving into observation points and scanning and just moving forward until I can get any information possible.
Okay. Yeah, so you're moving along. That normal glow you would see from like a town, you know what I mean? Like historically in the past in a world that hasn't been blown to shit. You know what I mean? Like that haze you'll see, kind of that like glow of lights coming up and like hitting
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
clouds above it. You don't see it.
Like the thing that ruins your night vision.
Yeah, It's just not there anymore. There's no street lights. There's no nothing. It's just dark. You know, and like I said, and it's a cloudy night, so you can't even like see the moon or anything. And even then, even if there was a moon, there isn't a moon right now today. So, yay.
I mean, good and bad, right? That's making so I don't leave much of a silhouette,
Yeah.
but it means I have to get closer.
Yeah. Yeah, so you go along and you get about, 100, 500, 600, 700, 800. You get about a kilometer. You're moving along, kind of trying to circle around. And I'm assuming you weren't going to were you trying to get to the same point where you guys got to before on the road, or are you trying to get somewhere else?
No, because it's possible that we were seen from there. So I would say, let's just for directional purposes, say I went northwest.
All right, you're going along. As you're going, you kind of occasionally go by, a house here, a house there. It's blown out, same thing as before, what I was saying. Just, debris, rubble, craters, shit like that. So you get to a certain point and kind of lift up your NVGs and kind of look through. And we cut back over to the camp with everybody else. And you're clicking through the stations. Click, 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 click. Listen for a bit. Flip to another station. All of a sudden, you hear this voice comes over the comms, and it's kind of it starts off and it's speaking. Do you speak any other languages, Jeremy?
No, Clark doesn't speak any extra languages.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna assume that. Let's see. Cole's probably close enough.
I'm around.
Yeah, but you speak Russian, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Russian, not Polish.
Yeah, so when it starts off, they're speaking Polish, right? And so you're not quite sure what they're saying. But all of a sudden, it switches over to Russian. And he says, "And I heard a sound from heaven, like the roar of rushing waters and like a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like the harpist playing their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders." And then he switches to German and going off in German. And it switches over to English. And he says, "These are those who did not defile themselves for women, for they remained virgins. They were following the Lamb wherever he goes. They were purchased from among mankind and offered as first fruits to God and the Lamb. No lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless. Then I saw another angel flying in midair," and it switches over to Polish. And
Hey, Emmett, sounds like we got a church service here if you're interested.
and it's just going on, and it sounds very fervent and very much has this reckoning, end of days, type feel to what he's saying.
I didn't expect televangelists here in Poland. I mean, next thing he's going to be asking for us to mail him a check,
Fill the hat with rations.
I'll just have to swing by dispersing real quick. Oh, shit.
God's word will reach the edge of the earth, but it will also be manipulated at every turn.
He starts in his spiel talking about a gathering that is the idea what you can get from it is that he's referencing a gathering at Lublin. That's where the faithful are gathering.
Are you pulling the rug out from under me? Are we playing Delta Green or what?
Join us in Lublin. We will ascend. The gathering is in Lublin. It cuts out.
Sounds like they're setting up a trap in Lublin.
Or a revival.
Somehow I have this weird feeling God's not here.
Emmett, what do you think about all this?
I think we should avoid Lublin.
You pretty much know Kyle from your general having looked at the map. And the fact that you can look at the map now is that Lublin is about 50 kilometers southeast of Parju. I'm sorry, southwest. 50 kilometers southwest.
50 kilometers, we got to find some fuel, even if we're going to go that far, or else we're going to be walking. So I hope there's something in Parju that he finds, or, I even take maybe some vodka, or we can distill it or something to get some fuel. It's going to take some time, though.
All right, so Chris, we cut back over to Murphy. He's going along. You get about 2 kilometers away from the camp. You don't see the edge of town yet. Go a little bit further, about 2.5 clicks. I mean, you come across occasional house and shit like that. Like I said, that's been destroyed or completely abandoned. Occasionally there'll be one that's still standing. But you just don't see town yet, basically.
What's the estimated range to the town?
Oh, I said it was 2 clicks originally.
I thought that's how far away it was from our group. I meant how far away from the town am I now?
The original estimate that you were going to be away from town was about 2 clicks, like where you started. So you're at about 2.5 clicks and you don't see town.
Oh, I get it. I went in the wrong direction. All right, I will.
And I'm assuming you were keeping your pace count with ranger beads and whatnot.
At this point, I'm like, fuck. Our first estimation of where I'm going is incorrect. Okay, I'll head back.
Okay. All right, so another few hours go by. About an hour, I guess, is probably what it would take you to get back. So really, it's only been about 2-3 hours probably by the time you get back to camp.
When I get back, I do want to look at the map to figure out where I was if I can.
Okay. All right, so Murphy comes walking back into camp.
Does Emmett light him up because he didn't, because he didn't give the code and signal? No?
Funny thing is, I was sitting back here, going, they never discussed what the signal was.
Yeah, it's the sound of a common wood pigeon.
That's what I've had to assume what it was. I'd say it's the sound of a Polish common wood pigeon.
And the brothers,
Look up here.
Flash and Thunder.
I'm assuming you guys are all veteran enough that you used the proper, procedures. So, you're fine.
240 goes off.
Dead sniper. No, seriously, with his high rank.
Oh my god, you shot Zombie Flanders.
He was a zombie? No.
So Murphy comes in. He gives this little signal to you guys. Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like Flash or something like that. So I get to the vehicle. I'm like, let me see that fucking map.
I hand it over because I was at one point mapping it.
The way I headed off is obviously not in the direction of the town because I went 2.5 clicks and didn't find shit.
So you want to roll a survival roll?
Can I roll it myself?
Sure.
That'll get it.
Yeah. You went way too far to the west, basically. Like you guys ended up going further west than Cole thought. So when you went south, you were way to the west and headed south. So you just never came in and circled around. You were just too far west.
Okay, so I got a 10 and a 2 on the die. So that counts as 2 successes. So that's the information that I get. So
Yep.
Will that roll point me in the right direction?
Yeah. You just know that you'd have to head more southeast. He just got turned around on back roads. My GPS isn't working.
Sorry, I guess I forgot my AAA triptych.
I tried to MapQuest this before I left, but it didn't work.
Yeah, I printed it out, but something happened to that printout. It's gone, man.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, you're fairly certain that it's actually about 3 clicks southeast instead of, heading south.
Okay. Let's rinse, wash, repeat.
We'll end up heading into the next shift if you go back out at this point.
That's
Might
fine.
want to give it a minute.
Well, what I'm thinking is maybe I can get in position, wait for daylight to come, the beginning of daylight to come. Then I can get a good observation and then sneak back.
All right, so what are you guys going to do for the night shift? I'm assuming that means Chris is going back out again. That was evening. So what are the rest of you guys doing?
I have 1 injury and 1 stress, so I would like to sleep, if at all possible.
Clark can keep watch, and Emmett can crash.
Okay.
So he's gonna have the handset up in the turret with him, and just kind of be swiveling the 240. But he's just gonna be listening to the same freak as the Lublin information.
The preacher?
Yeah, because maybe someone else will, hop on that same frequency.
Yeah. Now it plays. A little while goes by, and it actually plays like the exact same thing again.
Oh,
Like
so it's just on loop. He'll eventually turn that shit off because he won't want to listen to it.
Yeah. And the rest of you guys are sleeping. Murphy. So it takes you a little while and you get kind of into town. You get to this hill that's kind of actually overlooking the same general area where you were. It was about a couple hundred meters to the west, like where the road had turned and curved around. There was a little bit of a elevated terrain there. It's got a pretty decent view over the town, mostly because the buildings and, trees and shit from that side of the town had been blown out from artillery. So it gives you a pretty decent view of that side of town. Like, you can see the buildings because it's still like about 100 meters out. So you can just see that there are buildings. You don't see people because it's kind of outside of your range of vision because it's 150 meters, like I said, between the hill and actual buildings. There's all the, rubble and ruins kind of between you and there.
I'll stay and wait for daylight to get a decent look because I also don't want to be too close that when I'm exfilling in daylight, I'm seen.
Yep, I got you. Yeah, I mean, and there's some brush still, like on top of the, there's some trees on this hill. There's a couple patches of, foliage on the top of this hill. There's some large jettisons of rocks that you could hide behind, but would also kind of obstruct your view.
And maybe take some of the shrubs and use it to camouflage myself a little bit.
So you want to take some time and camouflage yourself?
It's darkness, right?
Like take a stretch. You will get infiltration +3 on this roll. Well,
Dang.
+4. So I don't know what your normal infiltration
go.
is, but +4.
Wise decision.
It's a +1 for normal.
Technically, you get a +1 for camis, just so people know, for infiltration. +2 for the foliage where he's hiding. And another +1 for spending a stretch to further camouflage yourself. I'm using the ambush rules in this situation.
That's awesome.
Yep. And since you have a lot of darkness around you, you know what I mean? Like, you have good cover to do this without other people being able to see where you are either.
Right.
So, because of the distance. Unless someone was closer that you didn't notice.
So yeah, just gonna keep the binoculars on the town and see what I see all night until the sun comes up.
Well, I mean, up until the sun comes up, you're not going to see shit other than the rubble 50 meters away from you. You're not going to see anything until the sun starts to come up.
Okay, but I'll just keep observing.
All right, so the sun starts to come up.
I get back my stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
those of you that slept, you get your sleep shit.
I wasn't clicking it until you said that, because sometimes you pull a fast one.
So we get back at the camp, and you guys are... You've been sitting there on the radio, Jeremy. You turned it off, Clark, after, the second or third time it played the, Book of Revelations at you.
Yeah.
And it seems like, from your good Midwestern upbringing, you've heard these things before. You know what I mean? Like, you'd heard these scriptures before, but it seems like they're being, like, mismatched and, like, selected specifically to, like, reinforce whatever it is that they're trying to say.
Some end of days shit.
Yeah, well, and it's not even necessarily, like, from one verse to the next. It's like, it's this verse, this verse, this verse, this verse. This, like, they're not in order. They're jumbled even to, like,
Okay.
further promote his own specific...
No expositional preaching here.
Right. So it's like very selective, like this verse and then this other verse from Revelations and then this other one. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like the context isn't the same.
Right. And I'm sure some of it's getting lost just because of the multiple languages, but it sounds
Right.
sounds cuckoo bananas.
Well, you actually do notice as you're listening to it that it's like one person speaking English, one person speaking German. You kind of get the sense it's one person speaking Polish and another person speaking Russian. Like they had like different people.
Oh, so it's different voices.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And it'll be like it'll go through all in one language, and it'll loop back, and it'll go through all in a different language, and it'll go back and it'll loop through all in another language, and then it'll like be a mismatch, and then it does it again.
Okay.
But everyone starts to wake up. Emmett starts to kind of wake up. Cole was getting up and doing whatever Cole was gonna do.
Cole's going to go and scavenge.
Okay. All right, so you're gonna go. Well, wait. Are you foraging or are you scrounging?
Scrounging. We're in a like a city. We haven't really had the chance to find any ghouls.
Well, you guys aren't really in a city. You're about 2 kilometers out. Well, 3 kilometers out.
Would
of
I
the
be
city.
considered ruins?
No. I mean, you might be able to find some farmhouse ruins. That'd be okay. I'll count that as like being able to scrounge. I'm cool with that. I just wanted to say you're not like in the city.
No.
Was all.
Yeah.
What about you, Emmett? What do you want to do? I will point out Clark has been up all night.
I can go back to keeping watch so you can sleep.
Roger, Dodger. Clark's gonna crash out.
Where do you go to sleep at?
Please, he's gonna go to sleep, sit in the driver's seat of the Humvee with his feet propped up on the door because the door's open, and he's just gonna crash out like that.
Yep. Okay. I just wanted to check how much of a motor pool guy he was.
Oh yeah, no, he's not leaving that Humvee, man.
Yeah. All right, so Emmett, I'm assuming you're gonna probably keep watch from the turret, from the pintle on top.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so you're up there, kind of looking around. Let's do the scrounging roll first. Let's do that. So why don't you go ahead and roll, I think, survival for scrounging.
I will push that roll.
Okay. I was just about to ask you, because it was a complete failure.
I will have 1 success and I will take 1 stress.
Yep. That is 1 success and a failure.
But a success nonetheless. Yeah.
But a success. Well, okay, so this is the interesting part of the game. So you find something, but you kind of freak out still. Like something about the situation kind of like makes you freak
I
out.
found a silver dollar in a pool of blood.
Well, I'm going to roll percentile and tell you what you find, and then you tell me how it is that you got stressed out by how
okay.
you found it. So,
That's awesome.
all right. So you're looking along. You find this house, right? And there's like rubble and shit, like wood. But the only thing you find in this house is like a perfect, untouched. It looks like it came straight out of a store, right? Like you just look over and this thing just catches your eye. And it's sitting in this blown out kitchen, right? Everything's just fucking destroyed in this house. But sitting on this counter is this one tube of lipstick. And it's fucking immaculate. Like the goldish thing on the cap is still like shiny, right? Like it's almost still in the package. It just looks so out of place. where you are.
Cole just stands there for a second looking, and he's starting to freak out. He's like, this has to be a trap. There's no way everything around it is derelict. And this is just sitting there. Perfectly set there, pristine, almost begging him to grab it. So Cole just sits back, waiting. I know this is a trap. Something's going to happen. And he waits a little longer. And before you know it, he's waited 20 minutes just staring at this thing, thinking there's a trap. And finally, he says, "You know what? I'm gonna try it." And he goes up, freaking himself out. He turns it upside down, and it says Japanese Scarlet is the collar. And he goes, "Oh, great. I know this pretty well. How ironic. My second wife used to love this collar. I think I accidentally said she looked like a whore in it, but oh well." And I put it in my pocket.